Hello again. Today I will be ranking the best arm wrestlers. I will be ranking them by their strength, their versatility, and most importantly, their aura. I will be including the top 10 strongest arm wrestlers based on the current East vs West rankings. But before we start, a disclaimer. This list is of course an objective fact and it cannot be argued with. It has been fact-checked by some top elite arm wrestling scientists I have been keeping in my basement, forcing them to watch arm wrestling content 24/7 for a month straight. So like and subscribe, and let's start off with an honorable mention. This arm wrestler is the undisputed GOAT, and it's obvious he would destroy everyone in the super heavyweight class. However, sadly he cannot meet the weight requirements required to be there. I guess that by now you already know who I'm talking about. Of course, it's the one and only Ryan Bowen. Ryan would need to be at least 30 kilos heavier in pure muscle without losing any speed or endurance. But until that happens, we just have to let other mortals do arm wrestling instead. However, I think he still deserves an symbolic S-tier ranking. Now that the honorable mentions are out of the way, let's go from the bottom up. And first off, I would like to start off with Georgi Tsvetkov. Now, Georgi is basically like a top pro specialist, and he doesn't really do anything else. It's like in a video game when your opponent slams one button doing that one attack because he simply doesn't know any better, and hoping that in that one case, that attack will work. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Now, normally I wouldn't put someone so low because of just being one-dimensional. However, with Georgi, I have seen that there have been some, let's say, extracurricular reasons. Do your own research, but let's say that until this thing gets resolved, his aura is gonna be in the negative range, so F tier. Now let's move up a division, and let's talk about the man, the myth, the monster Michael Todd. Yes, he's a legend. Yes, he's quite good at what he does, but there is a problem with what he does. Every time he disappears under the table, my soul just cannot do anything else than scream. Every time he vanishes, an angel loses its wings. And the King's move isn't really the only problem, it's also the fact that he has an urge to extensively argue with the referees, and that takes some points away for me as well. Now, if he manages to beat some top pullers in the future, then I could definitely see bumping him up higher. But for now, it seems that once he reaches that top 5 spot, all the arm wrestlers above him have already figured out how to beat him. He came so close many times at East vs West, but sadly it has never been enough. So for now, it's gotta be D for me. Now let's move up to C tier. And in C tier, I've got Tobias Sporong. Now Tobias Sporong, he's like a reliable Honda Civic. You know, he gets the job done. Sometimes he does good, sometimes the car breaks down. Usually it gets the job done, but you're not clearing your weekend to watch a Honda Civic drive around the racetrack. So, C. Now here is where it starts to get interesting, and that's with B tier. In B tier, first off, I've got David Dedikian. David is like a perfect example of primal aggression and raw adrenaline and power. But I still remember that one time when he pulled against Evgeny Prudnik and he started to lose in the third round because he won the first two, then he started losing. He started doing laps around the table. I remember this very vividly, where he just, I believe, I'm pretty sure it was intentional. He tried to extend his time for rest, so that definitely lost quite a bit of aura points for me there. Also, that one time when he pulled against Oleg Zhok, I think he went a little bit over the top with his aggression and he started to be a bit rude to him, you know, just was like jerking his arm. So I don't think that's good sportsmanship there as well. But he's really strong, almost been the top 1 guy on the left arm. He had an extremely close fight with Morozov. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future for him. Next up in B tier, I've got Kamil Jablonski. Kamil is a flop presser, and again he's quite one-dimensional. And he's really good at what he does. You know, he's beaten Devon Larratt on the left arm very convincingly. He's had a close fight with Michael Todd. I'm pretty sure he managed to take a round off Vital Laletin. I think he has a lot of potential in the future, so I'm putting him in V. I think he's quite a controversial fighter. Vital Laletin said something that he's gonna pull him again once he learns how to arm wrestler. I think that's actually plus points for me. You know, controversy is actually good for the sport. Not like controversy between the leagues, but drama around the match. And that's what brings more viewers to the sport and it helps the sport grow. So B tier for me, for sure. Same goes for Jerry Caderet, also a very fantastic flop wrestler, went against Levan. Sadly lost that fight. I mean, if he won that, he'd be S tier for sure, 100%. And also I think with Jerry there is some nice showmanship.
Need to go on the table. His elbow's on the table. Stop.
I would put him at the top of B tier. Now let's move on to A tier. And I'd like to start off the A tier with Gennady Goicoechea. Gennady, first of all, is a crazy fighter. Seeing him screaming Opana is just... And he was also one of the few athletes who have managed to defeat Devon Larratt. Devon, after his first loss with Levan, he went on a rampage, destroying every athlete there was. But Gennady was one of the exceptions because he had very good technical diversity and he also has fantastic endurance. I believe that in both matches he had with Devon, his endurance proved to be better. In their second match, I analyzed the last round and I saw that, you know, Devon, he really started to struggle in that last round. Of course, I believe he could have flash pinned him, but you know, he wanted to show off a bit, hold him in the center. And then when he started transitioning into the hook to finish him off, you could see the struggle on Devon's face. It wasn't easy for him. Also, Gennady has crazy mental strength. You know, he can match the energy of pretty much everyone except for one athlete, but I'll get into that later. So definitely A tier for me. Next up in A tier I've put Alex Krdecha. Alex Krdecha has a massive frame. He's like 6'8". He's really fun. He's strong. He likes to scream during matches.
Like a pin, that was a pin! And Krdecha
some showmanship to him. He proved that he's actually more technical than people think in his match against Artyom Morozov on the left arm, I believe it was.
The bicep starting to open there, and here comes Krdecha! And there's the tricep! It's driven on! He's back in the match!
He blasted through Georgi Tsvetkov. Even though Georgi was injured on that day, he had a very close match with Devon Larratt. You know, I'm filming this before their rematch, which is gonna be happening literally tomorrow. But depending on how that match goes, I may have to change my ranking. But anyways, for now, I'm gonna keep Alex in A. Then I will put into A tier Wagner Bortolado. Now, Wagner isn't really right now the top of the top, let's say. However, his insane showmanship just balances it out for me. I mean, I don't think there has been an athlete who just destroyed a table by just slamming it back and forth. He likes to scream.
Wagner Bortolato is loose. Literally no respect whatsoever for the camera crew or the necessity to film you as you...
His strength isn't as glorious as it used to be, but I love seeing his spirit. I have to put him in A tier. Next up I've got Ivan Matyushenko. Ivan Matyushenko has an absolutely deadly hook. He's very fast and he can hook almost everyone. He had a very close fight with Morozov where I believe his force output was actually higher than Morozov's, but Morozov simply held on better, he had better endurance. He held off Muratov quite well, destroyed Kamil Jablonski, destroyed Reno Message. But you know, he doesn't really have that showmanship. He's very quiet, calm, composed, which can be good in some ways. However, I don't think it gives any bonus points. Now the last athlete I've got in A tier is Georgi Zeranov. Georgi Zeranov looks like he's a reborn caveman. The way he acts on the table certainly shows that.
And somehow found a spot and just waited.
When it comes to his strength, you know, sometimes he loses, sometimes he wins. I believe that in his last match against Michael Todd, he should have won. I believe he lost due to technicalities, and that drive that he did against Michael was quite insane, I have to say. Moving up to the A+ tier. I'd like to kick off this tier with Artyom Morozov. Morozov is basically S tier if we count his match against Vitaly Laletin. The battle for the #1 spot in the super heavyweight division on the left arm was intense. In the first round, Morozov was barely able to stop Vitaly, holding him with his back pressure, laughing in his face, as he proved everyone who doubted him wrong. And it's a shame that he got injured, because I believe that if he kept up that same back pressure he had, he probably would have won that match. It was really close, and if he won it, for sure he would be S tier. Before losing to Vitaly, he had an insane winning streak. Now he's injured sadly, but for now he's sitting directly below Vitaly as the #2 guy. Another athlete who I've put into A+ is Vitaly Laletin. Now, even though he won his match against Artyom Morozov and he's at the top of the super heavyweight division, I would say that he doesn't really deserve S tier, because he ducked Devon, he didn't go to the Shaw Classic, even though he was offered like 20k. On the left, S tier for sure. On the right, he refused to prove himself against one of the best people to do it against. Next up, I would put into A+ Alizhan Muratov. Now, Alizhan Muratov is absolutely terrifying. His hook is unmatched. I am very confident in saying that he has the strongest hook in the world. He blasted through Hermes, he blasted through Evgeny, he went and destroyed Ivan Matyushenko, and if you remember the Matyushenko and Morozov match, that was very close. So I believe he would destroy Morozov as well. Think he would probably also be David Adikian, even though David also went through Morozov for 3 rounds before he got tired. But Muratov, I think, has insane endurance as well. He isn't only being a flash spinner, he has a good endurance as well. And I hope to see him fight Vitaly in the future. I'm not sure if he can win that match, because hooking Vitaly, as I said before, that just seems like an impossible task. But if he does that, I mean, that's like S+, that's maybe even above, okay, maybe not above Ryan Bowen, but it's S tier for sure. And the next athlete I'm gonna talk about is Hermes Gasparini. Hermes is always so close to the top, but it just seems that when there is that one deciding match, he just seems to lose. Either it's against Levan or against Devon. Against Levan he had a great showing the first time, but then Levan somehow exponentially improved again. Against Devon his cup sadly just couldn't hold up, but I still believe that his best is yet to come. He improved his riser immensely, his pronator, his back pressure keeps going up, so I think there is going to be a very good future for him, and I'm putting him in A+. And now we're moving to S tier. And the first athlete I have to put in S tier, it's gotta be Devon Larratt. Devon Larratt is probably the most terrifying opponent to go up against. Currently sitting second, just behind Levan in the super heavyweight division. His mind games alone make his opponents not want to pull. And if that wasn't enough, Devon is a master at taking everything from you in the setup physically and mentally. Devon's versatility is on the highest level, and his pronator strength is unmatched, cracking the wrist of pretty much everyone. He stands as the current most popular elite arm wrestler on the planet, and altogether that's 100% S tier. And the second person who's gotta be put into S tier is Levan Saginashvili. Levan Saginashvili is the only one who has proven to be a level above everyone else, including Devon Larratt. The first time they pulled in 2022, Devon got absolutely smashed by him, destroying his bicep, ripping him open. But after that, Devon went on a rampage, destroying athlete after athlete after athlete after athlete, meeting Levan again in 2024 in April. But even with his new form, Devon wasn't able to pull it off. Levan hasn't been beaten in like 8 years, I think it has been. His super match record is completely unmatchable. He has beaten everyone. He has a ridiculous frame, weighing around 175 kilos at 190 centimeters. His arms are bigger than most people's thighs, so completely unmatched, definitely S tier. And that wraps up our objective cannot be argued tier list. Isn't it glorious? So that's everything from me for today. Thanks a lot for watching.